Hello, my name is Emily Traster, and I am here today with Dan Dalton, one of the founders of Dalton and Tomich. How are you doing today, Dan?
Doing great, Emily. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, Dan, many churches have asked if they should wait until the separation protocol passes. What do you think?
Great question, Emily. And that is really the number one question a lot of churches are asking. To begin with, I think if the separation protocol could pass, it'd be a wonderful thing. It certainly would help a lot of churches out, especially those small churches that just don't have a lot of resources to go through a separation right now. And they want to preserve their property and protect their ministry moving forward. But from my perspective, and from what I'm hearing and what I'm reading and what I'm talking to different people, is I don't think the protocol is going to pass. It's really unfortunate, but I just don't think it's going to pass. Let's take a step backward. The protocol was negotiated outside of the parameters of the governance of the United Methodist Church. It was 5 affinity groups that got together, and they decided to see if there's a path forward that would allow the separation of the church and would allow for an amicable distribution of assets and churches to leave and keep their property and not really litigate trust clause issues. So from that perspective, it was a great thing. And that agreement was agreed upon in January of 2020. It was supposed to be voted on at the General Conference in 2020, but as you know, COVID canceled that, and it canceled the conference in 2021. And so right now they're claiming that there'll be a conference in 2022 to discuss that issue. But from what I'm hearing, and also from the individuals I'm speaking to, both inside the church and outside of the churches, there's just not going to be a general conference in 2022. There's a lot of things cutting against it. The first thing is financial. The denomination just doesn't have the finances to have a conference in 2022. They're supposed to have one in 2024 as well, so they can't afford one, and they certainly can't afford two. The second thing is really a lack of interest. Bishops are publicly saying they support the protocol, but conference trustees are contacting me, and they're telling me, hey, I don't want to tell you who I am, but I know that our bishop is saying that publicly we're supporting the protocol, but privately he or she is telling us there's no way we're going to support this and we're going to work against this. So move forward with your separation with your local church. So there's just no institutional reason to push this thing forward because it's going to break up the church. They're going to lose power. They're going to lose financial ability, and they just don't want to see it happen. They want to play the long game, and that long game is to have churches leave. By the time 2024 comes around, there's going to be no traditional bishops really left. There's no traditional bishops in the pipeline to become bishops. So it's all going to be centrist and it's all going to be institutionalist. And by that time, the voters at the General Conference are going to be institutionalists as well. So the idea is it probably is not going to pass at 2024. So if we're not going to have a conference in 2022 and it's not going to pass in 2024, then there's no separation protocol. Even if it does pass in 2024, we've already seen a Judicial Council decision that highly, highly, highly criticized the separation protocol. And from that perspective, I just don't think that the Judicial Council will find the proposal to be constitutional, especially in light of their most recent comments in a decision earlier this year in 2021. You can even check yourself. Look on, as of today, this is June 18th, 2021. Look on the Minneapolis Convention site schedule. And you're going to see all sorts of things scheduled for 2022. But the thing you will not see as of today is the scheduling for a general conference of the United Methodist Church. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So I just don't see it happening. I wish, again, I would love to see it happen, but I just don't see it happening. So what does that mean? What that means is that you're going to have a lot of churches out there that are kind of being led along to think that everything's going to be resolved in 2022 when it's not. And they're going to say, what's next? And what's next is you got to make a decision. Are you going to stay in a highly dysfunctional denomination with bishops that are going to be putting you under your thumb even more than we're seeing today in North Georgia, New Jersey, and in California and other conferences? Or are you going to leave? And those who leave first are the ones that are going to get the best terms and conditions to get out. And so that is the reason why you want to move today, as opposed to wait for a separation protocol, which in my view won't pass in 2022, won't pass in 2024, and even if it does, won't pass muster in the Judicial Council. I hope I'm wrong. I truly hope I'm wrong. But from what I'm being told, I think I'm right, and I've been right all along so far. So with that, I would highly encourage you and encourage local churches to really think through, where do we want to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? If you want out of the United Methodist denomination, if you want to preserve your property, if you want to protect your ministry, if you want to grow staff, if you want to stem the losses in your congregation, now's the time to leave.
Thank you for your insight, Dan. If you have any questions or you would like to set up a consultation, please email or call our office today.